All right, Jason.
Yep.
Have you decided what you're gonna get to eat here? Brandon,
Yeah.
you got the menu in front of you there? You know what? She
I
didn't give
do.
you.
I'm on the back page. I'm on the kids menu though.
Oh, you're on the kids menu. Looks like I think you're going for the grilled
Yeah.
cheese. I bet.
Chicken nuggets, man.
Brandon doesn't want the expensive meal. He's going for the. Oh yeah, they got the chicken nuggets here. Yeah, $5 there, Brandon. It's not bad.
Yeah, $5.65. That fits in the budget.
I'm gonna order 2.
Yeah.
I'm getting the California burger.
Does that include the smog in it?
Yes.
Cool.
It does.
That smoke flavor.
It's been smoked.
What are you getting for a side there? I gotta get something. I gotta get 2 items since Jason's buying. I need food for tomorrow. So.
Didn't know that.
No. I'm gonna go with the big tuna melt. How's that?
Is that in the budget?
I don't care if it's not in your budget. You're paying for it.
All right. Well, I'll pay the $6 and then you cover the rest.
No.
The California burger with the fries. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the big tuna melt. I'm gonna get the jalapeno poppers. I'm gonna have to load up with some popcorn chicken also.
Okay.
And I'll have the wings and things sampler. That's to go, that one. I'm taking that home. And that should be it for me. And glass of water with lemon. I'll take it easy on you, Jason. You don't have to pay $2 for that soda.
You sure that's it?
Yeah, I think that'd be good. If I want anything else, I'll add at the end.
It's pretty cool. Brandon, I noticed he gets the choice of a junior sundae or a milkshake. That's pretty cool.
Oh, I'm all about the milkshake. Vanilla. Plain.
Yep, got it. Comes with it.
Yep.
Nice.
And a side of ketchup.
Side of ketchup?
Double-sided ketchup.
Ooh, double-sided. All right.
Orders in.
All right. Well, welcome, Brandon, to This is your second trip to the Radio Impound podcast, and this time we're in a fancy diner.
Yeah. This time face to face.
Look at Jason over there. He's already. He's. What are you doing, Jason? Making a bib with your napkin there?
Well, that's the only way to get ready here.
Brandon's just checking around, looking at chicks.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes, man. There's a good diner. A lot of eye candy.
If we didn't get the good waitress, though.
No.
We got Bertha.
Yeah. Too bad.
We didn't get. They never trust a skinny cook or waitress.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
I should have tried these crisp zucchini spears. Maybe I'll get those to go, Jason.
I think they serve beer here.
No.
Yeah.
No, there's no beer on this menu. No, there isn't. They don't have a liquor license here.
A kids menu and a beer seems like a really fitting meal.
I'm surprised they let you order a kids meal. But,
I wouldn't mess with me.
So, Brandon, what's going on at Live RC? Anything new? What's happening there?
Oh, man.
How's it been going?
Going good. Been crazy couple weeks. There's always a lot of fires going. There are a lot of projects going. But we've, put the last couple of years, had a lot of time and effort into the live time and scoring side of it. And now we're kind of coming full circle, and a lot of the stuff is well underway in the Live RC side, and we'll have a lot of really cool stuff coming down that pipeline pretty soon. So,
do you think any kind of estimate on the timeline, you think, of when the guys might see some of it, or anything? I guess anything you're targeting. I mean, I know normally you kind of build towards the worlds. That's usually what we talk about. But
Yeah.
what do you think?
Well, hopefully we'll have a bunch of new stuff before then. What I've kind of realized over the last couple of years is my time to try to write code doesn't exist like it used to. So it's more day-to-day operational stuff. And so we just hired Ben Bliss on board, so he's kind of taking over a lot of the web programming, and we're back to having full-time web development. And Corey's obviously doing all the Windows development stuff. So we're back to full steam ahead, and I can focus more on just the the business and operational side and help out with coding here and there. But it's going good that way. We just launched a new site. Actually, today it launched for some of the big car stuff for transponders and whatnot that we're selling on there.
Oh.
But now the next project after that is the slight facelift for the Lifetime website, and then finish up the new news site for Live RC. All of those are pretty close right now, and the new site on Live RC is way overdue for a change, and it's been redesigned like 3 or 4 times and just never actually got done, because then we went a different direction. But now we're kind of on that home stretch, and I would say by probably midsummer we'll have, well, probably sooner than that. I guess we are almost midsummer, but we'll have the new news site done, and then comes the broadcast stuff and all the global stuff we've been tracking for a couple of years now. We'll start putting all that together and have the, international or national rankings, all your driver history, profile history. It's all being tracked. Now we just got to get the interface so you can see it.
Man, that sounds awesome.
So that's my long-winded answer for a short question.
Damn, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I'm excited. We got more programming power now, and actually can keep executing on things, and a lot of really cool stuff in the pipeline. And especially as we've kind of branched off into some other sports, that's really helped in a lot of different areas. See what else is out there, and gain more interest in other sports and just make the product overall bigger.
Really, you went to other sports now, huh?
Yeah, we've got Live RC, we've got Live FPV for all the FPV racing stuff, so that's been pretty big. LiveMX.com for motocross, which is something that's in the works.
Oh my God.
LiveMotorsports.com for full-size car racing. LiveKarting.com for go-karts. Pretty much the whole spectrum. If it's got a motor, we time it and can score it.
Just has to have the transponder, right?
Yep.
So as far
it's
as
a fun ride,
no, go ahead.
So it's a fun ride, but a lot of work, and unfortunately, you can't do it all at once. So some of the the RC stuff, it's kind of growing with these other sports, but it doesn't have the immediate impact. But it'll definitely be a better long-term impact. RC is still where my passion is. That's really where that's always going to be the focal point. But certainly helps to broaden our horizons a little bit and spread our wings, so to speak.
Yeah, I noticed when you guys were doing Silver State, you made your way out and you were over at Supercross. What was going on out there, and was that part of kind of getting involved on that side of things?
Sure. I can't really comment on that yet. We're actively working on motocross stuff. I'll kind of leave it at that, and there'll be some cool things in the pipeline coming soon.
I know you really like that industry, or Supercross, motocross in general, but is there anything you can talk about in terms of just being around that sport, or it doesn't really have anything to do with, you don't have to mention anything that you're doing, but what is it that you like kind of being around that particular sport?
Sure.
And how do you see it relate to RC and all that type of stuff?
Sure. Well, I grew up racing motocross. That's really where my background is, and I just got injured a lot. So I raced RC cars when I was injured, and got pretty into that because I broke a lot of bones. So it's always been, a huge interest of mine, and I think it'd be really cool to get involved in that industry. There's so much crossover. The race formats, although they're slightly different, it's really, the same type of thing where a lot of these big amateur races, you have hundreds of people in multiple different classes, and you race until you have a winner. And we can take everything we've built for RC, make a slightly different race format, and take the same online results, tweak it a little bit, change a few words, and we've got a product for a whole other industry. So as the RC stuff, when we build one feature for RC, it applies to motocross, or vice versa. If we build it for motocross, it'll apply to RC. So it just opens up that many more opportunities for customer base or broadcast type stuff, and it's a lot of fun being in that industry too. I love RC, but there's nothing quite like standing at the bottom of a jump and watching somebody go 120 feet when they're 35 feet up in the air.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, do you know much about how, because I casually watch, some of it, but how are those sports doing in terms of, I don't know, spectators, competition, fan support? Do you know anything about it, or just from what you're watching or picking up on anything, what do you notice about those particular sports?
Yeah, we've been really deep in a lot of the motocross stuff, and especially the dirt oval world, but like full-size cars, dirt oval stuff. And it's pretty interesting talking to the race promoters because it sounds so much like RC, where everybody's, it's hard to fill the grandstands because kids have so many other things to do now on a Friday night, versus go to the races. Racing's getting more expensive in every level, and it's tough, but there's a few tracks that are kind of thriving and doing really well because they're playing to those strengths. And we see the same thing in RC. I think there's tracks, if they get really stuck in the old way of doing business, they're going to be suffering a little bit, and the tracks that really kind of embrace the new world and promote themselves online and do different things, those are the tracks that are being successful. So all the little things we hear in RC, it's the same thing in all these other industries. Everybody's sponsored. That's every industry. It's not just RC. And people think that, I don't mean to say anything bad, because RC is one of the best things you can do with kids and a family. I mean, it's great. But you always hear, the little gripes people have about anything and everything, and it's the same thing in any industry. It's not any different. I think RC is honestly one of the better ones, in terms of, arguments after the race. That happens everywhere, but it really gets a lot more physical in some of these other sports, and dads are going after other dads, or going after other dads' kids, and at least in RC, it's usually just, you point a finger, shake a fist, and that's the end of it. It gets pretty intense in some of these other things.
Yeah, because they're a little more, they're a lot more physically demanding, so that physical nature probably spills over a little more. Right.
There's a lot more money involved. You take someone out in RC, maybe you break a $6 A-arm. You take someone out in motocross, and you bend a $125 set of bars and dent a $400 pipe, stuff like that. It's a big deal.
Yeah. So when you used to do that when you were a kid and you bounced between that and RC, how serious were you about it? I mean, were you trying to, how good were you? And obviously you said you had a lot of injuries.
Yeah, I did it really, really serious all through later middle school and high school. So my parents and I traveled every weekend. We were on the road. We ran the whole series in the district, and then I qualified for Loretta Lynn's a couple times, and unfortunately was always injured by the end of the year by the time the race came up, so didn't get to do that. I wouldn't say I was ever like a rock star by any means. I mean, I did okay, but I was never going to go pro.
Yeah.
So, I would have loved to, but it's kind of like RC. I did pretty decent in RC for a while, but I wasn't ever going to be a pro at it or not winning A mains. I'd struggle to, be fighting for, back of the A, B main, somewhere in there. So I guess some guys have it, some don't. I wish I had it, but now I'm stuck behind the computer doing the code so I can be part of it still.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the reality, right? Some people have they fit in different areas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at this. Here comes the food. That's it. That's his. That's your grilled cheese. Jason.
Chicken nuggets, man.
Oh, I thought you got the grilled cheese.
No, I got the double stack of chicken nuggets.
Oh.
There's just a piece of bread, toast.
Jason, that's yours. And I got the big kid
Can we still order a grilled cheese anyway?
Yeah, I'm ordering one to take one with me. I need food for a couple days. I'm broke.
That's on your bill, though.
No. This is on the J Concepts black card.
Okay.
Oh, look at that. Oh, mine looks great.
I think they forgot my ketchup.
Yeah, the double. You got double ketchup.
Yeah, they didn't.
Ask for quadruple, though.
Yeah, that's not enough ketchup for Brandon. We'll have to get her back here. Oh, yeah, look at yours. That looks good. Damn.
Chicken nugget has to be submerged in ketchup, and then you dig it out with a toothpick.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd like to order the. He needs more ketchup, and I need to order a grilled cheese to go. I got you, Jason. Hey, you know what's funny is we got a question in just now from Will Britton that says, "What is your favorite type of pickle? Dill, bread and butter, pickle chips, kosher or non-kosher?"
He's really looking for a way to make me just lock up under pressure. I don't do well with pickles, man.
Jason's got a few on his plate over there.
No.
That's why I'm scooting over the other way.
Yeah. Hey, Jason, just pass those over to me. I'll take them. I like those pickles.
I don't even want to smell pickles.
Well, here, just give them to me over here.
I think Brandon
If I get a burger and there's a pickle on the side, I will send it back and ask for a new bun. If the bun even smells like pickle, it just ruins my dinner.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You just gonna dip those chicken nuggets in ketchup then, Brandon?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Oh, here comes more ketchup for you. All right.
Sweet.
Anyway, so did you answer that question? What pickle? That was from Will Britton. You don't like pickles at all?
I don't talk about pickles, man.
You don't like pickles at all?
It's a sore topic.
All right. Okay.
Like I said, a few things I won't talk about. Pickles is one of them.
Terrible question, Will. Terrible.
Yeah.
All right. What were we talking about now? Live RC and Supercross.
Well, no, we can go into some more questions.
Oh, you want me to go through here? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here you go. This is from Joe Zaire. Any new exciting updates coming for Live Time and Live RC? Tons of them, Joe. Tons of them.
Yep. Live Time 3.0 is coming out here shortly. There's a couple tracks that have been testing that in beta. A lot of just nicer, clean up the user interface a little bit. A lot of new features. Some stuff on the back end that. Ability for more features going forward. So just ever evolving the product, and I think people are really going to like 3.0. It's a lot of really cool tweaks and enhancements.
Okay, this one's from Superfan Almond McLean. He says, Brandon, first, thanks for everything you do at both AE and LiveRC.com. It was cool seeing that crazy stack of My Laps decoders at the 2016 Worlds in Vegas for section times. Now that so many tracks have stats directly reporting to liverc.com, will we see one day individual driver stats? For example, races attended, average finish per position, average speed, etc. Do you see it being split stats for club or for fun racing and more ranked stats for recognized tracks?
Yes to all of the above. That's kind of along the lines of what I was saying before, where we've been tracking all that information for quite a while. So it's all there. I mean, we've got years of history. Now we just need to put it all together into, get the website to be able to view all that and start analyzing the data. It's going to be a lot cooler when we start with a bunch of data, a bunch of history versus kind of starting with nothing and a lot of the pages are blank. So we'll be able to do, our plan is to have some cool weekly competitions. Who did the most practice laps this week? Who spent the most time on the track? Who, are you going to have an Ironman award if you race 5 classes this week, and kind of build the online gaming meets real world type experience.
Oh, awesome.
You can earn achievements, and maybe we can hit up some sponsors to give away, a set of tires or something once a week or once a month for a couple winners of the
Jason.
different things. So if you know anybody.
Yeah.
We'll be in.
It's like pulling teeth from Jason to get tires from him. Man, that stuff sounds awesome, though. I would love, achievements and so forth, It just makes it fun to go out and do stuff. I think you talked about that the last show, last time you were on the podcast.
Yeah, stuff that's been on our timeline for quite a while, and really that when we launched Lifetime, it just kind of exploded in a very good way. Like, we weren't expecting that kind of feedback and, people to catch on so quick. So it also is a lot bigger project than what we originally anticipated in terms of different features that we had to make for tracks and things like that. So what we thought was going to be kind of a version 1 launch and then get into all of these online tools ended up being almost 2 years of nonstop development. And then we started distributing transponders. That took a lot of time, and a whole bunch of different things kind of popped up and opportunities, and it pushed our timeline back on some of the web stuff. Now, thankfully, like I said, we have a full-time guy with Ben who's been great so far, and we'll really get to start building out a lot of these things that have been on our timeline or on our vision list for quite a while.
Man, I don't know how you do it. That stuff seems really difficult. But, I mean, in video gaming, I'm sure the achievements and the trophies that you get for doing certain things. It just makes that game, that much better. Like, it's more playable. It's more, I love getting trophies and stuff like that. So, if I was a racer, that'd be cool, going to a track, doing a certain thing, and get an achievement for it, and it goes towards on your profile and stuff. That would be awesome.
And hopefully, it'll drive some interest back into club racing.
Right.
Not that club racing is dead by any means, but it certainly could use a little bit of a revival at times. And, some different achievements, like run 5 classes in a night. You're not going to do that all the time, but maybe this week is the week you're going to try to knock out this achievement.
Exactly.
Next week, you're going to try to do the double win 2 different classes in a night. The next week, you're going to do this one or that one. It gives you something different to shoot for, to just mix it up a little bit each week and do something different.
Yeah. Achievement, drive backwards on a track and wreck somebody.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah. You got to throw that in there. That'd be a Gotti Jr.
week.
achievement. How about that? You can throw that in there for me.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't be doing it on purpose, though. It would be by accident.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that'd be fun. Damn. Okay. Boy, take it easy over there, Jason. Look at you. That burger. Jesus. It's all over the place.
I'm destroying it. I'm going to destroy this.
Oh, my God. All right.
That is too much meat in the mouth at one time.
Look at him over there.
Ouch.
Jesus. No wonder why Allison doesn't take you out often. Jeez.
I'm a mess, dude.
Well, you don't eat much during the day or what, Jason? God.
No.
All right. I think Brandon's had like 1 nugget over there. That's it. All right.
I paced myself.
This question comes in from Pete Phillips. Any thoughts on integrating automatic video switching to allow viewers to view individual cars via strategically placed cameras around a track. Being able to watch the leader negotiate a specific section or follow a specific set of cars battling for position. So, yeah, are we going to be able to watch an individual car go around?
We've actually already released that about 6 months ago.
Oh, come on, Pete.
So,
what kind of question is that then?
Where when you're on the race screen, there's a little flyout that says cameras.
Yeah.
So you could set up like 3 or 4 different cameras. There's a couple tracks that have done this, but it takes a little bit of work, time, and effort on the track's part too.
Oh.
So you set up 3 or 4 different cameras around the track, and these can be, cheap webcams. It can be anything.
Okay.
And then you have a slider that says, this first camera should cover from 0 to 10% of the track. The next one is going to be 10 to 30%. The next one's going to be 30 to 60. Then we're going to go back to cam 1, which will be 60 to 90, whatever it is. And then as the cars go around, it doesn't really matter how fast they're going because it's going off of the percentage of the lap they're in. So realistically, a sportsman guy is going to do a 20-second lap, and a pro mod might do, 13-second laps.
Okay.
But proportionally, they'll be pretty similar, percentage-wise, how far into the track they are. And it actually works really well. It's pretty cool to see. So RC is a little harder because the cars move so fast that you almost have to have the cameras further back. But if you do like a dirt oval race, like, full-size dirt oval or go-kart tracks, it's cool in all of the sports, but the bigger the track gets, the cooler that feature works.
Wow. So I can watch... Wait, are you saying on an RC race I can watch anybody I want? On certain...
You don't have that many cameras, though.
Yeah. Right now, it will follow the leader, or if the race director wants it to follow somebody else, then select somebody else. But it's really like... you don't get to select who you're watching yet. That's something we could do in the future, but that's also going to require a lot more bandwidth to have simultaneous streams going up, or do one really, really high resolution where we can crop the video apart. But it's definitely something that's in the pipeline, given enough bandwidth that could be done. But yeah, in the meantime, you just follow the leader. That's usually the most entertaining one, or the one most people want to see anyways.
How much better has the internet gotten over the years from when you first started? Has it?
Depends.
Yeah.
Some places a lot better, some places worse.
I was just wondering how that pipeline is now. Is it a lot better than it was back then? Like, is it more? Are you able to do more?
I think there's more and more tracks are getting a hardwired internet, so that makes it really nice. But the 4G stuff really is kind of taken a step backwards in the last year or 2 years. And unfortunately, so many tracks are out in the middle of nowhere, we end up having no real choice but to go on 4G or spend thousands on a satellite, which just isn't, in the U.S., it's just not always doable. Europe, satellite's actually pretty affordable, but the U.S. is so overcrowded with people trying to use it that the supply and demand, the rates are about 10 times higher. But with 4G, we really have the same speeds that we had 2 or 3 years ago, but now there's way more people on it, and way more people using Pandora or streaming video, uploading, downloading YouTube videos, whatever it may be, because now we have all these unlimited data packages, so people use a lot more data than when we had 1 or 2 gigabytes. So it's kind of flooded the airwaves a bit and making it harder and harder to work on 4G. So soon 5G will be out. That hopefully will be a godsend, but in the meantime, we just kind of got to deal with.
Yeah. Has net neutrality, is that going to affect you guys at all in any way?
It could, but I don't think we are really big enough that we're going to be one of these sites that they're going to filter down on. They're going to be like Netflix and YouTube and things along those lines, which I hate net neutrality. I hate the concept of getting rid of net neutrality.
Mm-hmm.
But it could help in some cases, because they're going to charge more for people that are high bandwidth users. It's going to be more expensive for Netflix and things like that. which means there's probably going to be less users on it. And ultimately, that would be a good thing for us.
Right.
But doesn't mean that I like the concept of it by any means.
Yeah.
What a name, though, huh? Net neutrality, right? Is that what it is?
Yep.
Yeah, it's like these names, man. They're like it's like the name is better than anything that could happen. You know, it's like such a catchy thing.
Al Gore made it up.
That's right.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah. He discovered. Yeah, he made the internet. Yeah, that's right. He discovered it.
Yep. Dug it up one day.
Brad Shaw. How do you pronounce this dude's name now?
Brad Shear.
Brad Shear, that's it. Sorry, Brad. That ER at the end always confuses me. Why don't you just drop that ER? All right. Well, he talked about, I guess you already checked on this. He said, talk about the sector times now available in live time and what that brings to the table. Sincerely, your favorite driver. P.S. When are you switching over to J Concepts? Bet Rona knows a guy. Yeah, when are you switching over to J Concepts? What are you doing now? Hey, where'd Brandon go? He left the table. Brandon, where's he going? Brandon just left.
We're going to have to get him back over. He must have not been happy with that question.
He's going to the bathroom, I think. He maybe got sick from that chicken nugget.
He only had one.
We'll have to wait for him to come back.
That damn net neutrality.
All right, we'll get him back here. We'll have to go. Jason, go get him. See what the hell he's doing in the bathroom. Just left the table. Okay. The bill didn't show up yet. What's he leaving for? We still got the food to eat here.
Yeah.
All right.
Pull that old.
Head on over there and get him.
Gotta use the bathroom trick when the bill comes out.
Good Lord. All right, Jason's going to get him, and we're gonna see what's going on here. Brandon, get back here at the table, Brandon. What do you go running away for?
Hey, man.
The bill didn't even show up yet.
I had to pee, man.
Wow. I sent Jason in after you. Yeah, that was,
that was weird. He started rubbing my shoulders.
I thought maybe you didn't like the question. That's why you took off and left the table. That was weird.
Well, it was a question from Brad Shear, so...
Okay, well, that makes sense. That does make sense.
Of course.
Yeah. All right, well, that was from your favorite driver, Brad, so...
Well, maybe Brandon can touch a little bit on it, about the sector times. I don't know that... I mean, you talked about the camera stuff and following individual cars, but I don't know that you talk specifically, about the sector stuff.
Okay. So with the sectors, what that basically allows us to do is put more loops around the track so we can divide the track up into 3 parts or 4 parts, just like what you'd see in Formula One or, a lot of other forms of racing. It does a couple really cool things. First is it updates the running order for the announcer a lot more frequently. So if passes happen halfway through the lap, you actually see that. And you see position changes when you're following along online easier. Then it also lets the racers see what section they're making up time or losing time. So if you really want to get analytical, you could look and say, hey, Mike is faster in Sector A, but John is faster in Sector B, and then watch these other lines and figure out, what you're doing different. Some of the more fun things with it is we can have pit in and pit out sectors. So you've probably seen that at some of the big races, DNC and Worlds, where when the drivers enter the pit lane and exit the pit lane, we're able to flag it. So when you're watching the broadcast, it pops up and it'll say Spencer Rivkin in the pits. And then as soon as he leaves, it'll say his pit time, 7.6 seconds or whatever it is. So that really adds a lot for the broadcast, just in, more for the commentators to talk about, more entertaining for the viewers. And then we also have speed trap times, so we can bury 2 loops on the fastest part of the straightaway, and we measure the exact distance. So if it's 10 feet, 2.1 inches, we plug that into live time, and then it tells us their speed when they go by. So we'll see, 14.6 miles an hour, or whatever their speed is, or 40.6 miles an hour. And then we can also do joker lanes. So just like Monster Cup for Supercross, we can do a Joker lane where you have to hit it once in a race, or a shortcut that you can only take once per race, like what they do in the Red Bull Rallycross series. A lot of fun things just to change it up a little bit, and a couple tracks have done the Joker lanes and had a lot of fun with it. Some people like it, some don't, but it's something to clubs can mess around with and just mix up the pace a little bit.
Yep, I agree. I love it.
I noticed at some of the races where you did the pit lane stuff and all that like you said, for the commentators and people watching, they know really a lot what's going on, and I noticed that people really like that type of information when they're watching. When we're actually at the race, it's kind of tough to follow any of that stuff because you're always kind of, but the people watching really seem to have actually more information than when kind of like we're in the moment, it seems like.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff with the telemetry too that we can see. A few things like battery voltage and things like that. At the Worlds, there's a pretty cool incident where Saxon went across a sector, and all of a sudden we got an alert that said low voltage. So the announcers called it out, and they said, "Hey, it looks like he either forgot to charge his receiver pack, or his servo's drawing too much amps, something like that." And no more than 2 laps later, he pulled off the track he couldn't steer the car. So just getting that data, to the announcers really makes it feel a lot more like you're watching Formula One or something where they have all that data in it, and just kind of helps bring it next level, which I think is really neat.
That is crazy.
So it's obviously the transponders has that information because it can judge the power coming through the car, I guess. Right.
Yep. It's a little harder in electric racing because the speed controls have the voltage regulator, or the BEC, so you almost always see 6 volts when they cross the line. But in nitro, where you just plug the battery straight into the receiver, then you can actually see what the true voltage is because there's no regulation. It'll just tell you, 8.4 when it's fully charged. Then, by the end of the race, it'll be 7.something, 7.4, 7.5. I wish we had this 6-7 years ago when we were running NICADs, and at the end of the race, you would actually see people's servos start dying. That would have been really cool. So this telemetry for the battery part came about 3 years too late, but it's still cool nonetheless. So you can see if somebody has some sort of servo issue or forgot to charge their pack, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would have been phenomenal in 12-scale racing back in the day.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I think I had, if you want to look through the questions there, I think I had 2 more for Brandon that I was just thinking of. But what did you think about all the stuff on Nitro Challenge about the gyro stuff? And have you ever messed with that? And is there really an advantage, or what do you think about all that type of stuff?
Made for some cool storylines from a media perspective. I personally haven't messed with the gyros much, other than on drones and things like that, but I haven't done a whole lot with drones really either. But, I get where it's when something completely out of the norm for that race happens, it's easy to point fingers. At the same time, the guys that did well also do really, really well in Europe. They just hadn't, had a breakout race at the DNC before, so people there weren't used to seeing it. And guys that normally aren't used to getting beat, it's easy to say, well, he's got to be doing something if I'm getting beat. You really don't know what way maybe they were, maybe they weren't. If they weren't, it's unfortunate that there's all the finger pointing and accusations, but if they were, then it's pretty well known that that's against the rules. There's only one place in the world or one country in the world that really allows it. So we're not one of them.
Yeah.
So then it's kind of disappointing to see people using it. But how do you comment on something that you don't have proof on? You can't. There's no right answer to it. But it certainly made for some interesting storylines and a lot of popcorn eating watching Facebook comments.
Yeah, it was amazing. Michael Jackson was busy, checking out all the comments. But
yep.
Yeah, that's kind of. I mean, I honestly thought being there that I didn't think that those guys were using gyros, but because I was watching the racing and the cars and the lap times, but I don't know. It's Italy that allows it, right?
Yeah.
Those Italians, I tell you gotta watch us.
So,
it's weird being asked stuff like that because I'm at the race, we're covering the race, but I never really watch a car on the track. We're so focused on just watching, what we're doing, or even the guys calling the race, they're so into you looking at the screen and what's going on in the video. The race gets done, they're like, wait, who won again? You're really just doing a job and not focusing on who it is that's winning. You're just, calling names and stats and stuff like that. So it's weird. We probably know the least of what's going on versus anybody in the pits, even though we're the most ingrained in it.
Yeah, you have the most technology and probably the closest view, but at the same time, you're, like you said, you're doing a job trying to make sure everybody has that experience. But
right.
Part of that experience for them is that you don't get the experience.
Yeah. Like you said, we have all the data there, but nobody's sitting there just thinking about the data or analyzing the data. It's, if there's someone else that walked into the trailer, they'd be like, holy crap, there's a lot of stuff going on, and they could, really know what's going on if they're just sitting there and enjoying the race. But
yeah,
it's, it's weird to explain, but it really is a totally different mindset.
And something funny that happened, I don't know if Brandon bumped into this or not, but we were we were going to do a show. This was a couple months ago already, and David Church started begging us to come on the show. Have you heard about this?
I heard about it. I've not had a chance to listen to it yet, but I've got the link, in one of these days. I kind of keep forgetting about it, but I got to listen to that.
So, yeah, it was pretty funny because, I was telling these guys, I'm like, oh, I know what he's going to talk about. And so we did, and these guys are just like, Kirby and Gotti are like, what in the hell is going on here? Because he's talking about, the whole thing in Argentina and how he left there, and it was funny. Like just him talking about it was really funny, and he had I would say a couple drinks by then, right, Gotti? Would you say?
Oh yeah, he was more than a couple. But it made for a great show, though. I loved it.
Yeah, it was funny. So yeah, you'll have to check that out. And
yeah,
I mean, it's amazing how long ago that was already, and that
I know.
Really, talking to him about it, that's really kind of what stuck out to me more than anything. It was just, I'm like, man, how long ago this was, and that whole situation down there, and I mean, you guys basically got totally kind of hosed down there, and I mean, you were standing on a ladder probably half the time, right?
Yeah, and then they made us pay for everything up front, even though it wasn't working. They made us pay for the time out there to try to fix it, and then they would just leave in the middle. They'd leave at 5:00 sharp. Fixed or not, we'll be back tomorrow. You can pay us more then. And everything is paid before it's fixed. Well, it never really gets fixed. And if you don't give them the money, then you're in their country. They just take your stuff. So
Wow.
it was, we have some, cameras and stuff. They're not cheap. So we're just kind of going with the flow and all right, like here's your money. And there's a couple guys there that were really, really cool and a couple that were just, we kind of got screwed by. So, it's unfortunate, but live and learn, I guess. Now that it's a few years past, it's a funny experience to look back on, but I was pretty stressed out at the time. I came back with gray hair, so
Wow.
That wasn't fun.
It was a mess from that standpoint. Just getting the racers there and everything else is very difficult. And the product we were all bringing in, and then you guys had all your stuff, and then it was nuts. How about this? I don't actually remember the name of the thing off the top of my head, but the RC series thing that a couple guys have been sharing around, and there's a video about this. I'm sure you're
RCGP.
I'm sure you're kind of aware or involved, or I don't know, but just what's going on with that?
We've been working pretty close with them actually, so. I think it's something that RC definitely needs. It's tough because there's two ways of looking at it. There's what RC needs to try to attract more fans, just try to make it something that's more entertaining for people to follow or watch. And then what makes logical business sense for the manufacturers. So, from a manufacturer standpoint, sometimes you're better off sending guys out to these hole-in-the-wall races where you just dominate and win, and you create a lot of fans just by having your guys help out the local Joe Blow racer and completely lay the smack down, make your product look really good. And that pays dividends because you'll get a lot of people at that region starting to run the product. But at the same time, it doesn't really try to grow it as a spectator thing or make a series that people can follow. I think RC would be great if we could get some sort of series or, championship over multiple races, just like every other type of professional racing has. I think that would kind of help bring it to the next level. But it's a lot of money for manufacturers to spend and stuff up front to bring this out there, and you're not going to see an immediate return on it. It's going to take a year or two for that to develop and try to create some sort of market for it and attract some outside sponsors. I hope people are on board with it. I hope the manufacturers really give it a shot. It's nothing I don't think that would make or break a manufacturer, but I think it's something that's definitely worth giving a real good look into and trying to make something happen.
What do you see as, what are the events right now that are kind of going to be getting logged? Do you know any information about that and, kind of what you kind of see going forward?
Yes. So with the RCGP, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so the first year there isn't a series, so to speak. It's all virtual. So they just selected a few of the biggest events, and they're putting together, points championship with these teams that they kind of assign themselves. At some point, you just need to make something up or make something and try to show a working example of it. So, for example, they have Team Associated USA, which is Cavalieri and Rivkin, and then Team Associated Europe, which is Ongaro and I think Neil Craig, or and then Australia or Asia, which is McBride and someone else. And then you've got TLR, which is Dakota and forget who else is on there. I'm drawing a mind blank here. There's a lot of, exactly what team is what. But start putting together something kind of like what you'd see in some other series and show what it could be. And if that all works, then you actually go and make your own series out of it or join forces with these races, whatever it takes, and try to make an actual series that people can follow, and you have one champ that's crowned over series of different events. That may be a really long-winded answer. Sorry.
No, I
kind
get
of hard
it.
kind of hard to explain, but
Yeah, I get it for sure.
But
Is
the whole
there
thing,
go ahead.
So the premise is it's not really going to be a race that you're trying to get 600 people to. It's going to be a very elite group of people, just like you would see in Supercross or Formula One or IndyCar, NASCAR, whatever. These are the guys fighting it out for the championship, and it's more made for TV or made for spectator. The world's changing. I don't think we need TV like we did. We don't need TV coverage like we did a couple of years ago. Now we need, you can do it on online, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all these different sources, whatever it may be, and get way more viewers than on TV. But something that people can sit down and watch for 90 minutes and then get on with their day, just like you watch Supercross or, any other event for that matter. But trying to watch and follow along these events that are 6 days long or 4 days long, it's tough. You just kind of you log in, you log out, you check how it's going, and maybe you log in for the main if you're really a big fan. But it's not something that people can follow a storyline from race to race and see a champion evolve throughout the season. I think that's something that RC is lacking right now.
Is there a certain race or worlds that you thought went really well, like for you guys? A race that's like your, I don't know, like your example of, I wish everyone went like this type of thing, or
Sure. Yeah, there's been a lot that have gone really, really good. Thailand Worlds in 2010 was completely flawless from a broadcast standpoint. We had really solid internet, and that's always the Achilles heel is so many of these races are just not in good places with the internet, or we choose to attend a race where we know the internet's not going to be good, and in hindsight that's probably a bad idea. We should be a little more selective of it, but I believe something is better than nothing, but it's sometimes backfires too. But yeah, the 2010 went great. Obviously, Argentina didn't go so good. 2014 was where was that? Italy. That one went really well. There was a couple of hiccups where they didn't have the internet installed in time when we got there, and there was a lot of issues beforehand just getting into the country and whatnot. But once the qualifying got underway, it was smooth sailing from there.
Mm-hmm.
Vegas went really well overall. There's been a lot that have gone very well. Some that have not gone so well, but unfortunately, the ones everybody remembers are the ones that have issues. So,
of course,
but that's the name of the game.
I know what I always think about that is when I'm flying to a race and the airline always says, we're going to be getting in 30 minutes early, so make sure to tell your friends, because we know you only tell them when we're late or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
That's a good one. Jason, can I have some fries?
I guess.
Say no.
All right.
Tell them no.
How about have some of your nuggets there? I see you still have some left, Brandon. Can I have some of those?
Nope. Right. You got your 6 bags that you're taking home with you.
I didn't like this tuna too much. It wasn't that great.
Yeah, he ordered like 6 things, 3 to bring home.
Okay.
Who gets jalapeno poppers to go?
Well, I've ate a few, but I gotta make this last, Jason. Come on, I got all the cash that you have.
Yeah.
So, Brandon, what went on over at Live RC recently? I know there was a lot of controversy going on and some kind of scandalous thing, and I had no idea. I had no idea this thing even existed. This Dead RC, I think it was called. So
yeah, I was waiting for this question. You got to save it for the end, right? That's what everyone wants to hear. And,
yeah, I don't know.
Keep everybody tuned in till the very end of the podcast for it.
Yeah,
I get it. Good thinking.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I'm not going to really name names. I think that's been pretty well documented what's there, but there's no need for me to, really bring up names. But unfortunately, there was this site that was, or Facebook page, kind of like Shred RC, but it got way, way more personal against people, making very personal attacks on, things that people can't necessarily control themselves, or, picking on, younger kids, stuff like that. It just really personal attacks in a lot of this, and it went over the line. And I was sitting there talking to one of my racing buddies here, and we're fed up with it because a couple of the posts that we saw were just terrible or, bad, not called for.
Right.
And everybody that saw it, it was like a train wreck. You kind of got to look at the page to see what's there, but you hate seeing what's on it at the same time. So everybody hated the page, but still looked at it. So decided we'd try to figure out who it is. Luckily with Live RC, we have pretty much everyone in the industry has an account of some sort, not necessarily paid, but just a free account. So we're able to get that person on the site, and I guess I don't want to give away the secrets on how we exactly did it, but we're able to track that person's IP. I thought it was one person, completely different. I really had a good idea of who we were going to be catching.
Yeah, you thought it was me, right? You thought it was me.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess I don't want to say that on air, but I really thought we'd be calling you and be able to buy RIPCast like we talked about a couple of years ago, but pennies on the dollar now. Lo and behold, it was one of our own guys, and completely caught me off guard. First thing I saw was the city and state. I'm like, oh no, don't tell me. And then look in and trace it a little more, and yep, that's it. So unfortunately, it was a couple hours spent of kind of preparing things and then making that painful call to someone that I've worked with a long time, was got along good with, friends for a long time, for way before the Live RC stuff started, and had to tell them we were moving on. So it's unfortunate, but there's not much choice you're left with after something like that, especially when that's somebody that's supposed to be writing about these drivers and interviewing these drivers. That's, the job with Live RC is you're interacting with these drivers. And if you're the guy or girl, that is making these really bad comments, you're not going to have any respect after that. Nobody's going to talk to you. And we had to kind of get out in front of it and take a decisive action before people found out who it was, and then we look like the bad guys for not taking action on it. But there's always a silver lining. We had been talking about bringing Mike on full-time, Mike Garrison, for quite a while, and actually we were planning on doing that by the end of June. We had kind of a timeline where he's working up on hours, so that bumped that up ahead of schedule, and he started the very next day he was on full-time. And Tyler Hooks has been working with us now, kind of filling in some of what used to be Mike's part-time hours. And we've got, soon we'll probably have another opening here.
Maybe I'll have to apply for that.
On to bigger and better things.
How about that, Jason? There's an opening at Live RC. I might be able to apply.
There you go.
Yeah, I was really disappointed when you hired Garrison, actually, because we were planning on bringing him in here at the Radio Impound Podcast Towers here. But all I was able to give him was a bag of peanuts and a few lottery tickets. So, so obviously he just went to you.
Hey, you
so
can still call him in.
Well, yeah, but
You never know what those lottery tickets though would amount to.
That's exactly what I was trying to explain to Mike. I said, look, you could scratch one of these things off, and you could be set for life. I got him those. You could win $1,000 a week for life, $5,000 a week for life. I got a few of those. I said, here, this is my offer. God, he didn't take it.
And he turned it down, huh?
Turned it down. I still have them here, though. They're unscratched, Mike. So if you, we could talk.
Well, I don't quite have the vocal acoustics as Mike Garrison, but, I might work for a few unscratched lottery tickets.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I
unscratched.
could use more work right now.
Yeah. Okay, we'll have to talk.
I was going to pull up some of our other questions, but as far as the segments you have right now, Brandon, do you want to go over kind of what your weekly, it's kind of like a schedule in a way, what it is now, and obviously you kind of have something on Tuesdays, and, you got a name for them, and you want to go over kind of what the live RC schedule is in terms of the kind of updated content.
Sure. In terms of just like what we do in the average week, you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So on the news side of it, that's honestly pretty self-sufficient. It used to be Mike and another person. Now it is Mike and Tyler. So first thing in the morning, we all have Skype and, hey, good morning, check in, and just kind of take turns on who's watching the press box, posting press releases, and then we have every day there's an original piece. Monday we have one special piece, Tuesday is another, Wednesday is another, and so on. So kind of rotate back and forth on that, on who's writing what piece each day, and then the other one takes news. Then Mike does a lot of the product reviews, shoots some of the videos, so he does that typically on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. And that's pretty self-sufficient. I'm relatively hands-off on a lot of that stuff. In terms of the development, we've got a project management system that just logs everything that we do, and we get the request in and try to prioritize it and keep up with requests from tracks, special features, special builds for tracks and live time and different series, some of the drone stuff or motocross stuff, whatever it may be. And then set a timeline. We usually try to put out a new version of live time every 2 weeks. Sometimes it's a little more, sometimes a little less. But usually on Tuesdays. That way, if there is an issue, we usually catch it or solve it by the weekend. Luckily, Corey's pretty awesome. We don't have many of those. Now with live RC stuff, that part was kind of a giant ball of yarn for me, because some days I could go on a weekend coding spree and get a lot done, and then there could be 2 weeks where I just don't have time to do anything with it. It's just planning the next trip or getting some of the broadcast hardware ready. That's really all over the place. Now that we've got Ben on board, he's really focusing on the coding, and I can focus more on just the business development side of things and try to work on what we're going to do next and start developing strategies. And it's really helped in all aspects, that we're just a lot more focused, a lot more organized, instead of trying to do 15 jobs at one time.
Mm-hmm. These the daily pieces that you do you want to name them off and kind of give an idea of, maybe for people
Sure.
that don't know or whatever? Go ahead.
So Monday morning, there's always a poll, which is, some sort of poll question for people. What's your, what kind of off-road track would you like to see for the Worlds? Bumpy, Blue Groove, Sugar, something like that. And then that's got a week to get responses, and then below that we show the results and stuff from the previous week. And it's usually something relevant, something that has to do with, an upcoming race, or who do you think is going to win this race, things like that. Tuesday is always the Talk It Up Tuesday, so we do an interview with someone in the industry. So whether it's a driver or person of interest, whatever it is, that's on Tuesdays. Wednesday is the Moment with Mike. So that's Mike's editorial kind of freelance piece. Whatever he wants to talk about, it's an opinion piece. He can really say whatever he wants. It's not edited. It's, that's his opinion, and that's his chance to kind of just vent or just talk about topics that interest him in the industry. Thursday is testimonials, so we usually post a review, some sort of product review, or things like that on Thursdays. And Friday is Flashback Friday, which is typically if there's nationals coming up, or this weekend is manufacturers coming up, so we'll revisit some of the past manufacturers cup races and talk about those. And or if there's no big race, just find something cool that happened way back and bring it up. And I think you guys do something pretty similar to that on Thursdays. I think people really dig a lot of the old school stuff, which is neat.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how many people we have, I guess, in RC that have just been around a long time. So, and even if people don't race anymore, but they're still paying attention, they seem to react to that type of stuff.
Yeah. I find it quite depressing because I'm starting to realize I was around for a lot of these flashback things. Like, I remember these things happening. It reminds me of how old I am. I've been doing this 25 years now.
Man.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a big thing.
Hey, Charlie Swanka asks, what's your favorite after-hours event story? Most can't be told, I'm sure.
Oh, man.
Do you have one that you could tell? Probably not.
Yeah, the fun ones are the ones you don't really talk about.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a couple fun stories, but there's usually alcohol involved or, bars or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, there's a lot of fun stories, but what happens at the RC races stays at the RC races.
There
so
you go.
I guess if you want to find out, you just got to come to a race.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The one thing I have noticed, though, is the older I get, the less of those stories I have.
Yes. And the better the old ones become.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Anybody that comes up with a story now, you're like, oh, whatever. We used to do this.
Yeah. Way better stuff happened in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Or 2000s, whatever.
Yeah, early 2000s.
Yeah.
So what's next for you? What events you guys have coming up and stuff you want to promote?
Sure. Well, Bob is, Thursday? Yeah. So Bob flies out tomorrow for Manufacturers Cup at A Main. So we'll be covering that. That'll be, one camera, so it's not the full crew coverage, but it'll have full moving cameras and stuff, so it'll be good there, and they've always got decent internet at A Main. Go figure.
Yeah.
So that'll be a good one. Then we've really got a week off after that, or the weekend off, and then Monday we leave for Nationals down in Florida. That one, I'm really, really looking forward to that race. We've got a lot of support from the cities. We've got a huge crew going down. This will be one of our bigger crew events, and it's completely free. We'll have it on Facebook, YouTube, all the different channels. The city has really stepped up and helped the track and, helped with the sponsorship and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's going to be, it should be good. So we've got a lot of new stuff that we've done, just equipment-wise, hardware-wise, that makes our job easier with setup and tear down, and really lets us add a lot more cameras and things like that out there, the split times. So it makes it a lot more fun when we don't have to, when we can set up and tear down quicker, because then we can actually put more stuff out there. And that part I'm looking forward to quite a bit as well. So we'll have a lot of cameras at that track.
I'll be watching from home, bro.
And then how about as you move along, what's next in the year, and then kind of towards the end, are you guys going to be involved in the Worlds, and how do you see that going?
So, yeah, there's 3 Worlds coming up. There's the one in Florida for the 200 millimeter nitrous sedan. So that one we'll be at. The Worlds in South Africa, we're working on that one right now. That's an expensive one to go to. But we've been working with the track owner there quite a bit and really hoping to make that work. That one is just, comes down to cost and price on all of that. And then the Worlds in Australia, the track there works real close with a guy that runs a broadcast thing for a lot of dragsters, or drag racing and music events, things like that. So I think they're going to be doing some of the broadcasting. the cost for us to go down there, if we were to send a crew of 6 guys for the length that the Worlds is, it was just astronomical. So we're working with them. We're supplying a lot of the graphics, and we'll be involved to a certain extent with. They're using live time for the scoring system. We're still working out a few details, but I don't think it's financially feasible to send the entire crew down there. It's just the nature of the industry right now. It's tough to get sponsor dollars for that amount of money to go across the world for that length of time. It's a lot of money, and that's why you see so many teams are sending like 2 guys or 3 guys instead of sending 8 or 9 guys like you normally see at a Worlds. I think it's great that it's in Australia. I think it's going to be an awesome event. It's just unfortunate how expensive it is, to get there. So we'll definitely be doing what we can to be involved, but probably do a little lesser extent than normal.
Look, if you're asking me to pay for this bill, it's not going to happen. This bill here at the diner.
Oh man!
So that's what you're trying to get at.
Jump in there.
I think you're trying to get at that. That's not going to happen here.
Yep. I thought because you got free dinner tonight, you were kind of budgeting, and maybe
I'm not paying for it,
the World's presented by RIP.
Oh Jesus! Let me check the donations I got here. Yeah, that's not going to happen. It won't get me 34 feet away from my house, the amount of money I'm getting. All right, well. What else you got there, Jason?
Yeah, just, kind of going into, and then, so after the Worlds, picking back up, anything you can think of, Brandon, that's kind of exciting for next year, things you're looking forward to there?
Be interesting to see how the RCGP stuff goes. It's a big undertaking, but I'm, looking forward to seeing if something like it, if that can take off, and definitely we plan on being a part of that in any way, shape, or form that we can. Really, I think just expanding into a lot of other, sports, and hopefully getting some cross promotion too, if we can. What was kind of unique is we've made a lot of good connections in these other industries, and everything is about who you know, and the more and more we do this, the more and more that really proves itself true. So I think there's some opportunities where we could start putting on a couple of races or move a race to be in front of a lot of people and coincide with a big dirt oval race or a motocross race or something like that. Opportunities are there where it's really not going to cost money. These places are looking for more entertainment value for the fans. So if there's something we can do to just take a race that already exists and move it there, or just, make a new race and put it there, I think that would be pretty neat. So I think we can help make some of that happen. I'm not really in the race promotion business, but, in terms of getting the right people connected to put something on like that, I think we could definitely help make some things happen. So I think we're getting closer and closer to that kind of thing. And as we branch into other motorsports, there's some of the other ones definitely have a little bit bigger funding or bigger budgets. So if that's all going to trickle down, and if we keep expanding the broadcast stuff, then it'll give us that much more tools and goodies to work with for the RC races. So that's kind of neat too. Look forward to a lot of that.
Kind of reminds me of a story. I mean, this happened a long time ago to me, and I got this call from somebody. First, the call, I believe, went to Larry Genova somehow, and then he told them to call me, and it was a guy from Daytona Speedway that was essentially like, hey, I heard you guys do RC races, and we want to have an RC race at Daytona Speedway. And I'm like, okay, well, what did you have in mind? And the guy's like, well, he's like, if you could come meet us over here, I can kind of show you. So I drove over to Daytona, I think with Allison and Tim Davis maybe. And so the guy brings us to the infield down there, and one of their offices there in the infield, and he's like, yeah, during the whatever, at the time it was, or in the old days it was called the Firecracker 400. I don't know what it's called now, Coke Zero or something. It's the race during July, and he's like, yeah, we can, essentially what he wanted to do is he wanted to have a race because he felt like if he could bring in another event into during the race, that would be more fans they could put into the seats. So they're like, all right, so not only do you have the, just say that you could get 400 or 500 entries to the race, whatever that is, a couple hundred racers plus the family, the guy's thinking, all right, well, we can go through this work and then we can sell more tickets to get, to the NASCAR race. And, we're just like, I'm just sitting in this guy's office and I'm like, well, he's like, well, what's all involved in building this RC track? I'm like, well, you got to have the track, which is the most important. Then you got to have a driver stand. And the guy's just like, okay, we can build the track. Okay, I guess we could do a driver stand. How much do you think is this going to cost? I'm like, I don't know, 50 or 60,000. The guy's just like, well, we could probably do that. He's like, well, how many people do you think we're going to get? And I'm just thinking, I'm like, are you serious? And so I'm like, well, where do you think we can put this track? And he's showing me on the map, because this place is huge. I mean, I'm sure I don't know if Brandon's been there for Supercross or not, but he's like, well, I was thinking we could put it over here, and this is like in the back, all the way in the back. I'm like, nah, that's not going to work. I'm like, we got to be up front. so the guy's like, he's like showing us, he's like putting his hands on the map. He's like, how about over here? And then I just put all the way to the front. I'm like, no, we want to be right here. It's like, where the Dale Earnhardt Jr. trailer is, or Dale Earnhardt trailer or whatever. He's like, oh, that's where all of our, vendor. I'm like, yeah, that's where we want to be. He's like, well, we might be able to make that happen. And I'm just thinking, so I started telling him, like, look, I'm like, this would be awesome. I'm like, but what you have to remember is like, first of all, you're going to spend all the time building this stuff. We're in July in Florida, which the weather is going to be brutal. It can rain at any moment, and people want to race. If they're going to come here to race RC cars, I'm like, sure, the NASCAR stuff is cool and everything else, but they want to race. And if it's raining and you can't do anything, I'm like, you're going to have to work on the track again and rebuild it. I'm like, these are all the things that you have to think about. I'm like, you just can't throw something up, get 500 entries, and then they're going to buy tickets to the NASCAR thing. And I'm just, it was a really cool situation, but I almost kind of talked the guy out of it because it was like you don't really know what kind of nightmare you could be getting into here. I'm like, I said, then you build this track, up front. I forget what they call it, in the real high traffic area. I said, then it starts raining. I'm like, it's going to be dirty and muddy, and I'm like, man, I don't want to, see this, be a disaster here either. I'm like, I want it to work.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, just as far as like the contacts and stuff you're talking about and people, and it kind of reminded me of that story of just, knowing the right people and the guys, basically sitting there and the guys, I'm just talking to them. I'm like, yeah, we want to be up front during, the Coke Zero 500. I want to be next, and the guy's just kind of like, I'm pretty much considering making it happen. If he could put more people in the seats and justify it back, because I want to say that he was explaining to us too that maybe this was something that you were telling me once too, that if the stands don't have X amount of people, then that's not good for TV, and doesn't meet all their requirements for their sponsors, right. And it ends up costing them a ton of money because it's not what essentially they signed up for. And,
Yeah.
these guys are thinking of ways to spend money to eliminate having to pay back or, they don't fulfill their requirements. So essentially they're trying to think of ways to put things together that do cost money, but nowhere near as much as it would cost if they had to, the opposite situation happen. So anyway, it was an interesting thing. And I mean, we're talking about like 2009, maybe, a long time ago already. They were thinking about some of these things, but there is a way to make all that stuff work. I think down the road, and with the contacts you're making and things, there is some things I think that could work, but like you said, it does have to fall into play.
Yeah. And you need to almost build it just like another event where, the RC track might be there, the race going on a couple of days before everyone else gets there, because I wish races were shorter, but at the same time, that's, the me talking as media that, these events get really long. But back when I was a racer, I wanted the practice time, and this was my vacation. If I'm going to a race, I'm taking 4 or 5 days off of work. I want to go there and just have a good time, and I don't want to, drive halfway across the country, be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then drive all the way back. I think it's a different mindset when you are doing it as a job, as a professional racer, where someone else is paying your bills versus you're the guy going there just to have a good time, and this is your vacation. You want to make it a little bit longer stay. So
yeah, I agree. You go there because you want to drive your cars. That's the whole idea, and you want to. It's your practice time. It's some vacation time and chilling out with everybody. And yeah, you don't want to just be blown out of there and you're done in like 2 hours and you're like, all right, well, that was fun.
Yeah. I think that's part of the appeal of the Nitro Challenge is, as a pro driver or, media working the event, it is long and miserable days. But as the average racer paying your own way, like, it's a festival. You're there, you camp out, you're cooking burgers, you're hanging out with your buddies, you race a couple times a day, but the rest of the time you're just chilling out, wrenching on your car, having a good time, and away from work. So it's two different mindsets going into it, and I kind of miss the being the racer part of it too.
Yeah, exactly. Enjoying that side of it. I don't know if there's anything else you want to bring up, Brandon, or give a shout out to your stuff and how people can kind of, get involved with Live RC and Live Time, or, you want to kind of wrap it up from your side?
Sure. Well, if your track doesn't have Live Time, check us out, livetimescoring.com. We've got fanatical support. It's, I think, the new standard for what tracks are running for scoring systems, so we'd certainly love to have you guys give it a shot. Live RC, everything is free to put on Live RC, all your races, stuff like that, and a lot of cool things in the works. There's always stuff in the works, but now we're kind of coming full circle, and a lot of it's going to start coming together on the Live RC side of it, where the last 2 years we've had massive changes on the Live Time side. So I'm excited about that and looking forward to Roar Nationals. So make sure you tune in to liverc.com in 3 weeks or 2 weeks, and should be some pretty cool coverage.
And if you want to, on the Live Time, I mean, I'm sure you have approximate, but how many people you think are using Live Time now in the industry? I mean, do you think it's a 50% thing, 80% thing?
We did some numbers about 2 months ago, and we're about 85 to 86% right now. So it's a pretty good number.
Yeah.
And we're still getting track switching over all the time. Really, one of our proud things right now is since we've started, we have not had a track switch back. After they've they bought our system, we haven't had anybody switch back. So I think that speaks volumes for itself right there.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, obviously when we do races, and there's a lot of stuff that we wish we could do with our series and everything. But it is difficult when you run at the different tracks, but I mean, people do like lifetime. I mean, we see it everywhere we go, and I mean that's what I would have guessed. Around 80+%. That's probably what I would have guessed, and it looks like the best one to me.
Some of the holdout tracks, it's price is sometimes a factor. With anything, lifetime isn't free. It's not expensive by any means, but some tracks are, very low budget or in a backyard, and if they have something they paid for 4 years ago that's working, and I get it. Certainly love to have them give it a shot. We'll extend a demo, try it for an extended period of time, and I feel really confident that you'll see the value in what you're paying for. It's $30 a month. It's not by any means expensive. So I think eventually we'll get there, but we still have tracks switching over every week, and so in time. But once we really start getting all the global stuff, then I think that's going to be pretty cool, where you can track results across tracks, and you're going to be able to compete with people in these fun competitions and award or gamer tags, or badges and stuff, and that's going to bring a whole nother element to it that's going to be really fun.
Well, that all sounds exciting, man. It almost makes me want to race just to get achievements and trophies. Let me tell you. Badges. What do you call them? Badges?
Yeah.
But, yeah. You got to create one for me, an achievement where you go the wrong way on the track and you hit somebody.
I can do that.
That'd be the Gotti
Race
Jr.
director will have to sign off on it.
Yeah. Or just something funny. Create it and, put my name next to it. That'd be great.
We can do that.
Oh, look at these people are giving us dirty looks because we're sitting over here recording, and we've been taking this. They need seating in here, and we've been taking this up for over an hour now. It's crazy, and we've been finished with the food. It looks like Brandon didn't really enjoy the chicken nuggets. We still got some left. Jason destroyed that burger. Holy Jesus, God, Jason! Look at him.
Yeah,
he's a mess. He's got ketchup. You got ketchup all over your face, Jason. Clean yourself up. God.
How are you supposed to know I enjoyed it?
I guess so. Lucky you made that bib. Look at it, you got stuff all over the bib. Oh my God. All right.
Yeah, good thing to have that lobster bib.
Yeah. Oh look, here comes the bill. Here comes the bill. Yeah.
Well, thanks, Jason.
Yeah, hand that over.
Yeah.
She's handing Brandon the bill. There goes Brandon. Look at him. He's leaving. Jason, don't leave, Jason. Jason, sit down.
All right.
Brandon's gone.
But he didn't really eat all of it either, so take some of that stuff home with us.
Yeah.
His chicken nuggets. Should we take the ketchup?
He wasn't taking any chances with that, in case you didn't pay. He just bolted for the door. My God, I think he knocked over that old lady on his way out. My God.
One way or another.
Jason, you need some more napkins here. There you go. Man, so where are you going? You're going this weekend to the Bigfoot Bigfoot, what's it called?
Open house.
Bigfoot open house this weekend. You're going there, and then you have the Nationals. The Nationals are next week, right?
Well, I think there's a week in between.
Okay, all right. So
yeah.
So you got some time before the Nationals, but have fun at that Bigfoot. Oh my gosh, look at you over there. Jesus, can't take you out anywhere. Yeah, have a good time out there.
It's gonna be good. I mean, the guys Fred and Rich.
I got
Fred
tuna,
and Rich.
I got tuna all over my pants. All right.
Tuna.
Yeah, I guess that Katuna was not that good. So you got Rich going, and who else is going to that?
Well, Fred and Rich drove straight from Digger's Dungeon to Missouri for the open house.
Mm-hmm.
So they're actually there now. They're kind of had some boxes shipped in. Fred's kind of going through the stuff. Rich is working on videos and photos from the race at Diggers, kind of working out of the hotel. And Fred was helping Bigfoot guys a little, and then got some of our boxes and going to help get some of our display stuff set up. And I think tomorrow we'll be able to set up our tent and kind of our display and look kind of cool.
You're going to pitch your tent.
Exactly.
That'd be cool. That sounds like a good time.
Yeah, I mean, what's funny is that they just posted today that, not only are they doing classic monster truck races with what they would call like a stage 1 truck. So, trucks that were like leaf spring suspension, they're going to have 7 of those trucks there, and they built a course where they're going to race the old type of trucks. They're going to go over a set of cars, go in between another set of cars to the finish line, and they're going to do that at the open house. It's all free. People can come there and watch, and it's going to be really cool. People are excited about seeing the old school trucks run, and then they got an RC race going on there, which we're going to be displaying and racing in. They have all the Bigfoot trucks are going to be tired up and on display. And they have one of the old had the Bigfoot Fast Tracks, which was the tank. They sold that a few years ago, and the guy that bought it kind of worked on it, restored it. That's going to be there. And they have what else was there? They got a lot of vendors there.
All right, well that sounds pretty cool. You got a lot on your plate.
Yeah, and then they got another thing they just posted today is they have I've never even heard of this till today. Country rap artist Demon Jones is going to be shooting a music video while the open house is going on.
Wow. I wonder if you're going to be involved. With what was his name?
I don't think so.
What's his name? Demon Jones?
Yeah, it's Demun.
Oh, okay.
Demon.
Yeah.
Demon. I don't know how
Never
you
heard of
say
him.
it.
Country rapper. Wow, I didn't know there was such a thing.
Me. You know what? Me either. But I looked it up on YouTube. And I was kind of surprised.
Were you?
That it's actually pretty good stuff. Like, this guy's pretty legit.
Huh.
The videos that are on YouTube, I mean, this isn't just some joke, This guy is actually, like, when you look at the videos on YouTube, they're good. They're well-made videos, and the songs are, for what it is.
Yeah.
The genre, it's good.
Okay.
So I'm actually kind of interested to see what happens with it.
Yeah, might have a good time.
There's 100,000 likes on Facebook. The videos got several million views on YouTube.
Good Lord.
And, yeah, I mean, it's obviously it's not just some. And when you listen to the music, it's pretty good.
It's not a fly-by-night rapper.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can. I mean, it looks like to me that it's going to be. Should be cool to see. They're gonna. What I kind of envision is, he's gonna be standing. You're gonna film some background footage and, maybe having him sing. I don't know how they film videos, but it's probably lip synced, obviously, and you can sit around, stand around. You got some action behind you, and he could sit in the Bigfoot truck or something, and there's always. It'll look cool.
Yeah. Good. All right, what do we got? Tonight we got the NBA Finals coming on at 9 o'clock. This is Golden State versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's in Golden State. Jason, your prediction on the series?
Well, Golden State's going to win.
In how many?
5 to 6.
I'm going
5 to 6 games.
Okay. Boy, I want LeBron to win, but this is really a tough task.
It's really tough.
I think. Now, is this what format is this? 2, which we never got into, and we're not going to get into it now because I have to bail. But
it's
I gotta get it.
It's 2-2-3, I think. So
no. That's my format. I want 2-2-3.
No. But I'm sorry. It's 2-2-1-1-1.
Right. You know what? I'm going to say. I gotta go. I'll go against you. I'll go Cleveland in 6.
Wow. Okay.
It's a tough task, but I'm gonna say they win it in Cleveland, Game 6, just to make it fun.
I tell you what,
just to make it fun.
If the Cavaliers win this series, it's gonna catapult LeBron into definitely another level.
Okay.
He will be definitely in that Jordan level.
Oh, Jordan? Yeah, there he is. Yeah, please, come on. You mean Scottie Pippen level? All right. On that note, enjoy the game. It's going to be a tough series for LeBron and the Cavs, but I wish them the best of luck. I'd like to see them win. It's a tall task, but hopefully they can get it done. So, that's it. Radio Impound Podcast. We got to get out of here because I think they're trying to kick us out of this diner. We thank Brandon for being on the show. I wish he would have stuck around. He got scared when the bill arrived and just bolted, but hey, whatever. We said Jason was going to pay. You're going to pay, right, Jason? You're paying? I mean, you're not going to stick me with my, you're going to pay. You're not going to stick me with this.
Yeah, it is strange.
All right. We thank you for joining us on this special edition of the Radio Impound Podcast, live from a diner in an undisclosed location. We hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed Brandon on our show. There's a lot of good stuff in there. Check out liverc.com. A lot of cool stuff happening there, man. I'm excited about it myself. I'm going to check it out and see how all this new stuff works. And the badges and the achievements, man, it makes me like, man, I wish I was racing out there because that'd be kind of cool to do because I love that stuff in video games. It just makes a game.
You could do it at Norm. You can do it from Norm's.
Right. Well, I had to get him to get LiveRC, but Lifetime, whatever.
Lifetime.
But, yeah. But, yeah, it's something that if I had a track, I would definitely want that in there. And as a racer, I think that's totally awesome. Achievements are great in video games. They're fun to see how you compare against your friend and stuff. You can look all of that on a screen, on a PS4. You can see what your friends are doing in a game, and it just makes it more fun and interactive and stuff. So I think it's a good thing for RC and what those guys are doing. And, man, listen to Brandon talk about all this stuff. It's amazing what those guys do. It's it just seems like a ton of work. And
it is.
and it's just crazy. And kudos to those guys. They're doing a hell of a job. So best of luck to them with all these races coming up and so forth. So hopefully there's no problems. But really cool. Show your support for those guys. And show your support for J Concepts. Head over to jconcepts.net. Tell your hobby shop to get the J Concepts gear in there. Jason's always running around to these races, supporting you guys and helping you guys out with the product. That's the most important. Right. That's the most important thing. Support the product. And Jason is running around like crazy, doing it. And he's always available. If you have a problem or need help with something, Jason's just a message away. Or if you're out of track and you see him, don't be afraid to approach him and ask away. And tell him you like the Radio Impound Podcast. Tell him you love it. You love it. You want more of it.
More. Better.
No weeks off. No weeks off.
Yep.
And check us out.
We've been killing it lately.
We have been. We're stepping our game up. I got new motivation.
I like it.
I'm excited.
I like it.
Yeah. Check us out on Anchor app. I've also applied. A lot of you guys requested me to get it up on iTunes and stuff, so I did all the things I had to do for all the different outlets. So we're just waiting for approval. So when we do record an Anchor, you'll be able to listen to it on the Anchor app. You can go on there and listen and give us applause. You can applaud the episode, and then I get a notification on my phone. So if you're listening to, the RIPCast drive-through on the Anchor app at 3 in the morning, and you applaud it, I get a notification on my phone and it wakes me up. Well, there you go.
You look and you go, cool.
Yeah. So you can wake me up. So do that. That's what I like about that. And then I had a couple listeners send me voice messages through the Anchor app. You can send a voice message through the episode. And, I had a couple guys thank me for it on there. So it was really cool. And I responded to them with a voice message. So it was really awesome. I like some of the features of the Anchor app. Now, I know there's some complaints from listeners that you can't do certain things like fast forward, reverse with fine tuning. You only can do 15 seconds forward and back, and it doesn't pick up where you left off. But Anchor has been notified about that by multiple people, and supposedly they're working on it. They sent me a message back saying that will be resolved in the future. So hang in there, guys. But those RIPCast drive-thrus will be available on other outlets soon. So we're looking forward to that. And also check out our YouTube page, Radio Impound Podcast. We've got a new redesign. Did you see that, Jason, how I redesigned it?
I like it.
We got so now you can
looks good.
Yeah, you can listen to the podcast on YouTube. Jason likes to listen to it that way while he works. Puts it up on his PC and has it in the background. So what we did is we created a nice little page to look at, and it has the voice, the I don't know what you call that, the voice going through the meter or whatever. You can see us as we talk, the voice going through, and it has a cool little logo and stuff. So I redesigned it so you're not just staring at a RIP logo. So pretty cool. And
you're the man.
That's it. Yeah, I am the man. And I am out of here, and Jason's paying for this dinner. Thank you very much. I got my leftovers. I'm taking it home. And it's going to be...
You're welcome.
It's going to be a good couple days. I'm going to be able to eat something besides ramen. So, appreciate it, bro.
No problem.
All right, we are out of here. We'll see you guys.
See ya.